Welcome to High School Bathrooms, everyone. The best place to have a conversation. I'm Derek.
And I'm Simon.
Today, we're going to be talking about freshmen. So, I don't know about Simon, but I'm calling this podcast episode Ned's Declassified School Survival. No, never mind. That's copyrighted. So, we're going to call it Derek and Simon's Declassified School Survival Guide.
And again, I'm just not agreeing with this. I think this name should be burned and thrown into a trash can and just
What do you.
gone.
But that TV show was so good.
The TV show was good, and I like the name for the TV show, but the fact that we're stealing it is not cool.
Fine, whatever. We're not gonna. Whatever. You can call it whatever you want. Okay. But anyways, during this podcast episode, This is targeted towards freshmen incoming to the high school. Where Simon was just a freshman, and I'm about to be a junior. So we're basically just gonna give you guys tips and tricks and tell you guys stuff on how to survive high school, since it's gonna be a brand new environment from middle school. So actually, just yesterday, my school had their kind of freshman orientation, and that's why I kind of want to do this podcast episode because I mean, it's been a while since I was a freshman, and I still remember a lot of things when I first came into high school, but being able to kind of see what other incoming freshmen and their questions and their fears and their obstacles and their goals were really helped me kind of want to help everyone out, all the incoming freshmen. So I got a lot of good feedback, and I'm going to bring all that up today in this episode. And Simon was just a freshman too, so he knows a lot.
hmm
So I think one of the biggest things that Simon and I and everyone else can agree on, at least that pops first in my mind, is high school is a brand new environment than the middle school, like I said, and a big part of that is gonna be social wise. Like, a lot of people who you think were your friends, I mean, they're not that they're bad people. It's just that you might not be hanging out with them anymore. Because I feel like the biggest reason for that is because in the middle school, everyone's kind of together. There's not that much variation in what you can and can't do. But as soon as you hit high school, all of a sudden you have all these sports and all these clubs and all these different electives and paths you can choose. So you
Basically,
start.
basically, when you're given a choice, there's a different path that most people will take because they didn't have a realization of what they could do.
And yeah, and even then, you start realizing what you want to do. I feel like in high school a little bit more. Like some people might want to do, let's see, like chorus or art or music or computers or anything like that. So everyone starts kind of splitting up, and because personally for me, I used to talk to this one person a lot, like all the time, but her and I don't really talk anymore. Not that we're not like friendly towards each other, because I'm friendly towards everyone, and like she's friendly towards me, but it's just because we don't hang out anymore because of our schedules and everything. Like we don't have any classes together. I barely see her. We don't do anything together. Like people will just fall off.
Yeah.
So
One of the other big reasons for that is you're interacting with a lot of new people, and
Mhm.
seeing all this new information and all these new ideas is a lot for people to take in, and that can also change their personality and ways they interact with others. So you're meeting a lot of new people. So when you're losing all these old people, you're not just losing them; you're actually gaining a lot of new people though that you're interacting with
Mhm.
and talking to.
Yeah, I have most of my friends now actually are people who are in higher grades than mine. A lot of them, because when you're like an eighth grader in middle school, you're kind of the top, and it's sometimes it gets kind of weird when you talk to people below your grade. So I don't know if that's just me. Like it's not weird, but you know what I mean. Like you don't want to be talking to like sixth graders, not because you can't, but it's just kind of weird. But in high school, it kind of like no matter what your grade is, everyone's kind of equal. So it's pretty casual there. There's not that like big difference.
Yeah, well, I
Like
actually,
probably the biggest. Keep going.
I actually don't have that experience because I changed from one middle school to a different high school, so I didn't know anybody else at the school, so I didn't have the experience of I've seen these people before, and the people in my grade, at least I have those people to talk to, but I didn't even know the people in my grade. So that was a different thing. It was kind of interesting for me, but hopefully I can still provide enough in this episode.
Well, you were just a freshman, so everything should be brand new to you. You can talk about your own personal experiences. You're not like too different from everyone else. I mean, in the Would You Rather episode where you found out that you're actually normal. So,
yeah, that was a big surprise to me. But
I mean, normal as normal, barely normal.
As normal as I could be.
But I think probably the biggest difference, I don't know if it's just my school or not, but the biggest separation probably would be upperclassmen and underclassmen. Like, that's probably the biggest, honestly. There's not really, like, freshmen and sophomores aren't that different. Juniors and seniors aren't that different. Like, but I feel like from sophomore to junior year, there's a lot that changes. But I don't know if that's just me or not.
I don't know. I don't feel like there's any separation between anybody, because when I went to school, the only thing I could tell is if you were in 9th grade or one of the higher grades. Otherwise, I couldn't tell if you were like a senior or 10th, or a senior, 10th, 11th. But usually you can tell if it's a 9th grader because they're just the smallest people. They haven't hit their growth spurt yet. But like 10th and 11th and 12th, I just kind of get them all mixed together, and it doesn't really matter to me because like everyone's in different classes and other things, so it doesn't really matter what grade you're in. It just matters like how nice you are and what you do, and
that's why I said earlier, like there's not really any difference anymore. Everyone's pretty much equal now once you hit high school. It just depends on what you do, basically. But I mean, I still look like a freshman, so I fit right in this episode.
Yeah.
Hey, no, okay. Hey, someone thought I was an 8th grader like a month ago. Did you know that?
You look like an 8th grader.
I do. That's what I'm saying. Yes, at the freshman orientation yesterday, I literally blended in. Like I was one of the tour guys, but I looked like a freshman, and I was walking in the group. I don't know. It was funny, but anyways. We just wanted to bring that whole social situation up, so that's just a heads up, because people are always, I don't know if it's, people are always like, these are my ride or dies, you know, my friends, they're not going to leave me, and it's just, I feel like that's not how it works anymore, at least
that's not how life works anyways.
Yeah, in high school, I think what starts happening is, you'll start dropping people, and I mean, like Simon said, you'll start dating people too, but you'll really find out who's going to be sticking around.
Well,
I feel like,
and then after high school, you're not going to probably know any of these people. So it's kind of a preparation for knowing that you're probably not going to know any of these people afterwards.
I mean, I don't know if I'm just being a little naive, but hopefully I still know some people. You know, I hope to know some people. I mean, I'll know you.
Statistically, you're most likely not to know any of them except for me.
Wow, I didn't know we had a Simon statistic.
Yeah, Simon statistics.
Let's make a podcast about it.
Did you know that 92% of statistics are made up on the spot?
Great. Anyways, let's start off with what not to do. And this is probably going to be my favorite part. I have a lot of stuff to say about this, because as someone who's had to deal with freshmen before, I mean, some of the stuff you guys do, I don't blame you guys for doing it. It's because you guys are new to the whole high school environment. It's just, it gets so annoying sometimes, and everyone else gets annoyed too, like some of it. But Simon, I think you should start off, since you were just a freshman. Everything's still pretty fresh in your memory. So
that's also a downside, because I've not been anything else. I've only been a freshman, so I don't know how it affects the other people. But one of the things that I do not recommend doing is trying to break into another group without being kind of brute forcing your way into another group. It's something that I've seen happen quite often, and it was not good.
You mean like jumping into a friend group?
Yeah, so jumping into someone's friend group, and it's not like the worst thing ever. It doesn't affect them badly, but it's just like it makes an awkward situation for everybody. And if you're not being casual about it and being just like friendly instead of just brute forcing your way in, if you're being casual and friendly, then you'll probably be fine. But if you're brute forcing your way in and just like, hey guys, this is my name, and blah blah blah, then you're going to just make it really awkward and make them less likely to like you.
I feel
And
like that'd be really awkward too because since you're a freshman, you might like nobody might know you.
mhm.
Like imagine a freshman or somebody just going into like up to a group of seniors like, yeah, my name's Steve. How are you guys? And it'd be really awkward. Not
Yeah,
because like, yeah, because like I don't think they would know who you are at
but
all.
on the opposite end, there's something else you don't want to do, and that is worry so much about high school that you're gonna think, oh, I'm gonna get bullied every day and everything, because most of the bullying that has been stopped because of all the stop bullying campaigns that have gone on in the U.S. especially, and most of it's been like lowered down mostly. I mean, people still get bullied, and I'm not saying that it's not happening, but if you go in expecting to get bullied, you're more likely to be an outcast or something because you're going to shy yourself away from people instead of meeting new people.
Yesterday at my freshman orientation, I was looking at some of the stuff that people are writing down for fears. People are writing down like getting beat up by upperclassmen. I don't understand. Like I don't think that happens. I mean, it probably does.
It doesn't.
But like,
It doesn't happen to the extent that most people imagine it will.
I feel like that's just coming from like high school movies. But
Yeah, and
I mean,
that's-
also, oh, you keep going, keep going.
Well, I mean, the one time that it actually worked out for me being scared of high school, because I was scared of high school. I was so scared.
Really?
And that's why I learned magic. That was one of the big reasons. I was scared that I was not gonna fit in, so
Mhm.
I was worried. So I learned magic, and that actually worked out for me because now I have a talent that is pretty cool for me.
It's pretty cool, man. Check out
So-
some of his magic sometime. Anyways,
Yeah.
keep going.
But that's the one situation where it worked out for me. But most of the time, it's not going to work out if you're just fearful. All you have to do is just not think about it. Just don't worry about it. Like,
Mhm.
just get this image in your head that everyone's going to be nice, and even if they're not, you're only slightly let down instead of having to be fearful all the time and being constantly let down because you can't bring yourself to talk to people.
And there's so many other people too to talk about. Like some of the things I saw yesterday, people were like, "I'm afraid, I'm worried, I'm not gonna have friends." And honestly, there's so many different types of people at the high school that you're bound to have a friend, unless it's your choice not to have any.
Yeah. As
But-
long as you just talk to people, someone will eventually be your friend.
You just gotta get out of your comfort zone. I think that's the biggest thing. But about the whole bullying thing, hey, look, the principal of my old school used to be a bodybuilder, so we really didn't have any bullies. But also, for bullies, the whole situation with them, I feel like we do counter bullying now. I feel like people bully the bullies if they find out they're a bully. Like, if that makes any sense, like they're stigmatized, like they're cast out.
Mm-hmm.
So then, like,
That makes sense. I don't think. Well, I actually don't know because I don't know everyone at my school, so I don't know what's going on in everyone's lives, and I'm not going to pretend like I do and say there's no bullying.
Alright.
But there might be, but I don't think it's as widespread in my school because most of the people that I met out of my school are really nice, and even the people who I was at first not interested to talk to because I didn't know them, but once I got to know them, they were pretty cool.
I feel like people are cool enough if they saw you getting bullied, like people would probably like jump in to help, like not even gonna lie. At least for my school. I don't know about yours. Probably your school too. People are good people. I mean, some people might mind their business, yeah, like, you know, whatever, it's not my thing. But I'm pretty sure other people would be like, bro, what are you doing? What's wrong with you? Like, you know.
Yeah.
But anyways, what else can you say not to do in high school?
And then
Or not be worried about it.
one of the things that is a big thing is not based on social things, but in the school part of school, which is one of the biggest parts. Don't take it too lightly, but don't take it too harshly either. Like, there's always a middle ground, and that's what you need to be in, because if you overstudy, you're never going to have time to do other things that you want to do and prepare yourself for what you would like to do, and you're going to be over-stressed, over-anxious, and it's not going to be good. But don't take it too lightly, because if you take it too lightly, then you're going to ruin your GPA for your later life. And when you're a senior, and you're going to look back, and you're going to think, oh, I wish I had just got to it and made my GPA just the right amount so that I could get into college and other things.
Mhm.
And you're going to be
Freshman
wishing
year-
that you could.
freshman year is probably the one of the most important years of your high school career. Like every year is important, but freshman year is probably where your whole like weighted GPA is gonna start. Um, and your GPA is hard. Okay, it's easy to bring down. It's hard to bring back up. So you're not gonna want to slack off. I think one of the biggest things also that everybody does, right? You can probably guess what it is. Procrastinating. Like as much as everyone says don't procrastinate, everyone does it. I'm not kidding. I do it. Simon, you probably procrastinate too.
I procrastinate all the time.
Uh-huh. Yeah, but honestly, if you can get into the habit of not procrastinating, like it's a habit. It really is. It's a bad habit. Anyone can break out of it. It just takes hard work. But if you can break out of the habit, like get started early and not procrastinate, high school is going to be so much easier for you. I'm telling you right now, you're actually going to be less stressed. You're not going to worry about it. It's just don't procrastinate. That's all I'm going to say. That's it. And not procrastinating actually also helps with homework. One of the biggest things that from I learned about yesterday, people were worried about homework. And I mean, with Uncle Ben quote here, with great power comes great responsibility. High school gives you more freedom too, but you also have more responsibilities to do. And of course, there's going to be more homework since the classes are going to be harder and everything. But you're getting smarter too, hopefully. So you should be able to handle it. It shouldn't be any that different. Just work hard and don't procrastinate, and that's going to help with the whole homework workload. Because if you're slowly doing all the work over a period of time, it's not going to seem like there's that much compared to if you're waiting all on one day and you have like piles of homework you haven't done.
Yeah.
But what else can you say about Simon about not doing something as a freshman?
I think that's the biggest one. Just don't force yourself in anywhere that you don't belong yet. Just play it casual. Be confident. Know what you're doing. That's a good tip for anything. Be confident in everything that you can do. Don't be overconfident. Don't be self-conceited, but just be confident and know that you can do whatever you put your mind to. And that's that's one of the biggest ways, and that's one of the biggest things people like. If you're a confident person, then they're going to love talking to you and being around you.
I actually have one very big thing to say personally for me for what you guys shouldn't do as freshmen. And that it goes with the whole like walking in the halls situation. If you're like me, you're trying to get to class so that you aren't late, like as fast as possible. I mean, sure, you might go talk to your friends or something on your way to class, but I mean, what is it? You have a few minutes to get to class. So I'm rushing to get to my class. Just please don't walk slow in the hallways. Like, I mean, I know you guys can get kind of lost. So like the first like month or so, I'm okay with it, and all the teachers are okay with it too. They're lenient. But if it's like halfway through the school year and you already know where all your classes are, but you're walking like a mile per hour in the hallway, and people are trying to rush to their class, and you're blocking the actual hallway, and it's happened this year at my school too. We've had groups of freshmen just literally blocking the hallway, and like people are trying to get to class, and they can't because there's all these kids in the hallway just standing there, like in the middle of it. So like, don't block the hallway and like just get to your class, or just keep going with the flow. Like don't block anything.
We don't have hallways at Wildwood. We have like just it's all outside. It's not a big building, and
that's cool.
It's just connected stuff. So there's actually a lot more space over at our stuff, and there's a lot of different buildings. So you're just walking through outside. So most of the time, if people are walking slow, you can just go around at our school.
But yeah, at my school though, I don't know if the hallways. I feel like the hallways are a little smaller, so that it's a bigger issue. But another big thing is the whole relationships part. And here's where I'm going with this. Okay, so high school relationships are pretty dumb. I mean, in my opinion, anyways. Like, I don't think they're worth it. Should you still have them? Probably, because it gives you experience. But don't going in thinking like, oh, I'm gonna be with this one person forever. Because trust me, you're probably not. Like, what was it? Only 6% of high school relationships actually like go out of high school or something successfully. I don't know. But what comes out of that is another hallway situation. So here I am in the hallway, and okay, I'm like seeing these two people, these two freshmen just holding hands, all right, which isn't a big problem. But the problem is when they start blocking the hallway, like I said, and walking really slow. And I've even seen them doing it like as they're walking up the hall, like up the stairs. Like I don't understand how they're doing it. Like there's one person behind, they're holding their hand, and they're walking really slow, and the whole stair situation too. Like we have your school has like stairs, right? Or no?
Uh, no, I don't think there's any upstairs.
You don't?
But no.
Okay. Well, my school has an upstairs, and we have like basically like three main stairs, kind of. Well, we have a one main stair, and then we have a few side stairs. But they'll just be walking up the stairs holding hands, and they're moving really slow, and it makes people really annoyed. I don't know. That's all. But that's what I say. Just please don't do that. Like you guys can hold hands, whatever. Just walk fast. Just don't block the hallway for other people. That's probably my biggest thing that I wanted to bring up. But now we're gonna move on to what you should do. And we already covered a little bit of this earlier in addressing some of the things you shouldn't do. But I think one of the biggest things that everyone should do, and I highly recommend, is just to get involved with your high school. You only go through high school once, and just get involved. Like, do a club, do a sport, do extracurricular activities. Like, I mean, doing good in school is your biggest priority. I feel like.
Plus, if
Like,
you do stuff in school, it goes well on your college resume. It looks great. If you did extracurriculars, if you did sports, if you were going for sports, then if you played sports in high school, you might get scholarships. If you were going for like good things on your resume, volunteering and extracurriculars look good on your college resume. So.
Yeah, so just get involved somehow. Get involved in the community. Do something other than just going to school and then going home and not doing anything. Like Simon said, it's really good on college transcripts. But even if you're not going to college, it's fun, and you get to meet new people. Like I said, you only go through high school once, and you're gonna want to make it the right way. I've talked to so many people who are older, and they're like, "Yeah, I regret my high school. I didn't really do anything. Like there's so many things I could have done, but I didn't, and I really regret it." And I mean, you're probably not gonna say that now, but I mean, maybe 10 years from now, when you're looking back, you're gonna be like, "Yeah, I really wish I tried out for that sport, or I really wish I did more clubs." I'm super involved and I love it. It's really fun. I mean, sure, I know some people are lazy and like you don't want to spend time at school more than you have to. I understand that completely, but just even doing one thing, it's worth it. Like one sport or one club, just get out there and just get involved.
Yeah, that's
another big thing. Another big thing is make use of your education. Like it's basically free education, and you have to be grateful for it. Not everywhere has. Not everywhere has like the education system we do in America. I mean, yeah, it's pretty crappy sometimes, but whatever, it's granted. But just make the use of your 4 years. It's basically free. I mean, obviously grades aren't everything, but just try your hardest. Don't slack off. Don't procrastinate. I mean, it's pretty easy. Like, yeah, I know some people are easier at getting grades than others, but I personally believe that with hard work, you can do anything you want. Whether it's grades or sports or athletics or clubs or anything. Like getting involved, we're just working hard. And that's what you should be doing.
Yeah. So,
Simon,
the things you should do. One of the big things that I mentioned earlier was be confident. That's one of the biggest tips I can give to anybody. Be confident. I have had in the past insecurities and other things that have held me back from being confident and talking to other people and I used to be like pretty antisocial. Mm-hmm. But now that as I grow up more, I just realize that none of that matters. No one cares what you feel on the inside, or like, and not saying that they're unempathetic, but they don't care that you have insecurities and stuff. They just want to meet you. They just want to know.
Like
you.
people have their own issues to deal with. So
yeah. So everyone has issues. Everyone can relate to issues, and like the fact that you haven't talked to people before. Well, they don't care. They just want to meet you. They just want to know your person. So you should just be confident and know that they want to know you instead of they want to make fun of you or anything.
I think also with that is, like I said, people have their own issues, so they're probably going to be focusing on their own problems and don't want to hear about yours.
Yeah.
To be honest.
So they just don't care. It doesn't bother most people. And if it does bother you, then make a change. But I
think with the whole confidence thing too, is to not be something I saw yesterday was that people were kind of nervous about teachers, and I can see why. But I think one of the biggest things is not to be shy with like administration or teachers or anything. Definitely with your guidance counselor, I recommend getting to know your guidance counselor and setting up appointments and everything when you need to, like 100%. Your guidance counselor will help you with so much stuff, and I don't think people realize this. Like they're like, I don't know what to do. You have a guidance counselor, or you should, and or even your teacher. I talk to my teacher a lot about stuff, and they can become like really good friends, like not just your teacher too, and they can help you out with a lot. Like you shouldn't be afraid of your teachers or anyone else.
Yeah. And then
like,
another big thing that you should do in your school is try for the best class you can do. That's what Derek was talking about before, like get involved and make the most out of it. Just try and get as far as you can, just to see how far you can go. Just because like life's too short to worry about, I don't want to do this. Oh, this is too hard. Life, you only have like 90 years on this planet. It's actually approximately like 72-ish. So you have approximately 72 years. If you wasted 4 of those years doing nothing, that's like a big percentage of those years that you have approximately. So
and you know what's even worse? You're if you could consider the whole sleeping thing, you're sleeping about a third of your life. So like what, 75 years ish? You're sleeping about 25 years. So in reality, you only have 50 years of actual activity. So that makes it even, you have less time than you think too. So you don't want to regret it.
you don't want to have wasted it and not have another chance to do it again. So that's the biggest issue. You always want to make the most out of anything you have, especially high school, because if you make the most out of high school, you can use that to make the most out of the rest of your life.
In the beginning of this podcast, I said how when you hit high school, you're kind of start knowing what you want to do in life. But I will also want to say that it's perfectly fine if you don't. A lot of people in high school are still trying to find their way around. They're going to start to learn what they like and what they don't like and what they want to do. And things change a lot too. Hey, when I was in elementary school, I wanted to be a pediatrician. You know what I want to do now? I want to go into the military. So, like, everything changes, so don't go in thinking you want to do something. But if you have a dream, though, if you have a dream and you've held on to it and you really want it, work hard for it and go for it. But I also wanted to bring that up because people are going to feel kind of lost in the high school if you're a freshman, both physically and mentally. Like, you don't know the building. So also with that, don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be shy in the hallways. Ask a teacher, ask someone. They're going to point you in the right direction. It's all good. But if you don't know what you're going to do yet, it's perfectly fine. Just the best advice I can say for that is just get to explore. High school, there's a lot of stuff to do in the high school, so explore. You'll find something you like eventually, and that might give you an idea of what you want to do. But
I just wanted to end us off on a question, as I usually do. So, what do you think is your favorite part of high school that when you were a freshman? Like, what was your favorite part of a high school as you became a freshman?
Well, high school, like we said, can be super enjoyable if you do it right. And as a freshman, well, when I went to middle school, personally for me, when I went from middle school to high school, what I was most excited about were all the new opportunities that I'd have and all the new stuff I could do. Because there's so much stuff you can do at the high school that you just can't do at the middle school. And my biggest thing that I can probably think of that I was really excited about was all the clubs there, all the extracurricular stuff you could do. Not just clubs, but I guess sports and community service. I was really excited about all that because you don't really have any of that at the middle school. You don't have clubs at the middle school, at least the one I went to. So I was looking forward to that a lot because, the whole academics thing was, I feel like it's just the same. It was just going to be harder. And I feel like that's what it is. But it's all the new stuff that you don't get to experience in middle school. That's what I was most excited about.
For me personally, I was excited about, since I changed to a different school, I really like people. I really do. And one of the most exciting parts about that was that I got to meet so many new people and just know so many different people that I would have never met if I had stayed at the same school. And it was really cool because I just love finding out people's personalities and their viewpoints on the world and just learning new things from people. Because I would have never understood what people at Wildwood thought if I went to the villagers, and they
Mhm.
think completely differently. Not anything bad, but it's just cool.
Mhm. So yeah, like Simon wanted to end off. Like I said, all this the biggest we said was all the new stuff. So to end off, I just wanted to say, high school is gonna be a time of change, and there's gonna be a lot of change, and you're gonna have to embrace it if you want to have a good high school experience. Sure, some of the change might be bad, but hopefully most of the change that you're gonna experience is gonna be for the better. And it's all up to you. High school is what you make of it. And that's all we wanted to say to end off.
All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to High School Bathrooms. If this is your first time listening, we hope you enjoy it. We try to make new content every weekend, so tune in next week for more. Also, check out our Instagram at HSB Podcast, all one word.
As always, thanks for listening. Make sure to share us with your friends. Wash your hands with soap and water, and have a great day.